It's only April and this year has really been starting off pretty challenging. Um, and that's because I'm trying to elevate. That's because I'm trying to get better. I'm sticking with it. And I realized that in elevation comes breaking generational curses. So 2026 is the year that I'm breaking these generational curses. It is a lot easier to say, yeah, I'm going to break generational curses than it is to actually break them. I just realized I don't have my ring on. Okay, back. So 2026 is the year that I'm breaking generational curses. I don't know if I'm gonna break all of them this year, but I will continue on the path to do so because that's a part of elevation. It's a part of being better than the past you was. That's a part of getting to higher heights, achieving higher heights, leveling up in life, basically. And this is unfortunately a part of it. I can't skirt around it any longer. I can't act like it's not important. I just got to do it. And the only way to do it is to go through it. You feel me? So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Kristen. Welcome back to Kristen's Butterfly Effect. If you're new here, I make videos for young women who are trying to live more fulfilling lives. So if that is a journey that you're on, come and join me. And if you're not new here, welcome back, girl. Good to see you again. Thanks for being patient with me. I know it's been 2 months. So, like I was saying, breaking generational curses sounds nice. However, it is hard work. It's really challenging. If you think about it, it's literally a curse. It's something that is over your life, it's having control and dominion over your life that you do not want to be there. And you have to break it in order to come out from under the stronghold of it. And you're really the only one that can do that. Obviously, caveat you with the help of the Father, but you have to desire it and seek guidance, help, and support in achieving that goal. So, for me personally, the two generational curses that I'm currently aware of that I'm focusing on breaking this year and subsequent years are number one, divorce and lack of fulfillment in marriage. I desire to have a long standing, loving, and successful marriage. And curse number two is financial insecurity. I grew up being I grew up working class, and I do not want to be that for myself or be that for my children. Um, and I do not want them to feel scared and afraid of money and live with lack. Not that I ever felt without, but I knew that we weren't able to do things like go traveling as a family, or we weren't able to buy some of the things that we wanted when we wanted it instead of having to wait till it goes on sale. Um, and those may seem like small or minor things, and that could be because those are not the curses that you have to break in your life. But for me, those are the things that I need to overcome and the things that I have to actively work towards breaking. And a curse is really, to me, like a mindset. It's really like a pattern, a way of life that you kind of are in or feel subject to, almost like a cloud over you and over your life. And you have to actively wake up and realize, like, hey, this is not where I want to be. This is not who I want to be in life. And I have to do something to make a difference, to make a change. Okay, so the first thing that's really important with breaking generational curses is naming them. So I just named my first two, or my two. And it took me a while to acknowledge. I knew that they were things that I wanted to break, but to really confront them and face them to say, no, I am actively going to work and be steadfast about breaking you, overcoming you, and achieving the life that I know God has in store for me. That is more recent. I'm more cognizant of that now, and I'm really focused and honing in on those two things. So naming them, super important. First thing you need to do, because you cannot overcome something that you have not made real, if you will, if you have not acknowledged or faced. Okay, then after naming them, making them real so that you can overcome them, you have to acknowledge their presence. When I say acknowledge their presence, I don't mean acknowledge that they exist. I mean acknowledge the ways that they are impacting your life. So, for example, breaking the curse of divorce or not having a successful marriage. My mother and my grandmother both got divorced, and they had to operate as single parents for the majority of their parenthood, motherhood. And I can see how independent and successful they were. However, if I desire to be married and if I believe that that's the plan God has in store for me, there are certain things that I learned from them that I've seen them do that will no longer apply to the life that I'm trying to live. They had to change how they operate and adjust and adapt to the life that they had. But if I continue to act the way that they act, and they have a life that I do not desire, then I will be conditioning myself to operate, or I will be preparing myself for a situation that I'm not in, nor do I desire to be in. Do you get what I'm saying? Um, that's what I mean by acknowledging its presence, acknowledging the ways that the curse has shaped you, has shaped your ancestors, has shaped the ones that have come before you, how that's impacted you, and kind of single those out, because those are the things that you're really going to have to work on changing, adapting, and modifying in order to break the curse. Because you cannot, that's that saying, it's insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And I didn't grow up with my grandmother, so I don't know exactly how she was, but from what I've heard my mom, or how I've heard my mom describe her, and how I know my mom is, I think that they both might have been a little passive aggressive. And they're very mild mannered people, very humble. And I'm the same way, but I am a little bit more willing to go out and get it done, willing to, not wait on people, kind of get things done. And I've been this way even since I was a child. I grew up hyper independent, like my foremothers, if you will. But there is a balance now, especially in my marriage, in which I have to kill my hyper independence, in some regard, so that I can not only be dependent on my husband, but be dependent on God. I have to be dependent on God to lead me, to lead my husband, to make the right decisions. Um, and really, the problem with hyper independence is more so control, thinking that you can control everything, you can control the outcome of everything. If you do it, it's going to be right. You know what I'm saying? Which that's a whole layered thing in itself. Letting go of control, letting go of the desire to always be right, and giving it up to God. And so that is, though, that's one of the actions that I've learned or inherited, that I'm having to let go, or I'm having to face and therefore let go, if I'm desiring to not be in the same position as this curse. You know what I'm saying? And this is no shade or disrespect to my mother or my grandmother. I was not obviously around during their situations, so I will never have the full story. I'll have the he said, she said from my parents, from stories of my grandmother. And so I'm not here to judge any of their situations. I just know what I desire and what I believe God wants for my life, and now I have to make a change. With the second curse, financial insecurity, like I said, I grew up working class, single mom, working multiple jobs, trying to make ends meet. I had a lot of support from my family and just the people around me, whether it's my extended family, church family, whatever. So I never felt a need for anything. And I grew up not being greedy, if you will. Um, but the ways that influences me now is that when I first got my husband, especially when we were like living together and stuff like that, it was hard for me to say yes to just spending money on things that I felt were frivolous, or were taught to be frivolous growing up, like eating out or like doing something spontaneously that costs money. It just was not normal for me, and it would make me tense up, or just kind of have feelings of like, that's impulsive, that's irresponsible. And really, it's because when you don't have money, those things are irresponsible because your money is being focused or put towards your bills and survival. But when you have your bills and all your basic needs met, you have permission to enjoy your money, enjoy the fruits of your labor, enjoy the gifts that God has given you. Um, and that's a mindset shift. I mean, it took a while for me to break down that kind of mindset around it. And I'm still struggling with it, but I've gotten a lot better. And I'm working towards it because I don't want to seem ungrateful for what God has given me. God has blessed me, God has blessed my household. If I am holding on to it or hoarding it or not appreciating it, I think that's going to do me worse in terms of favor with God, because it's like if God is blessing you and you're like, not too much blessings, like, girl, do you want the blessing or not? Because there are millions of people on this earth that He can give it to. He's always going to give it to you, but if you turn your hand against Him, I mean, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? So I really was convicted of that fact because I'm like, I do not want God to take His blessing from me. I want to be able to enjoy and relish the blessings that He has. And so I need to change my mindset about spending money. And then conversely, I think I've been decent with money management, but really from a saver's point of view. My mom definitely instilled that in me growing up. And so that was my mindset, like, okay, you work, you save some money, so that way you have money for emergencies and XYZ and your vacations and trips and whatever things you want to spend on. But now I'm having to lean more, and I wouldn't say now, like I've started investing years ago, but not as intentionally. But now with my job, like I'm intentional about what are the different ways that I can create a life of more financial security. And so investing in my 401k, into my company stock program, and personal investment accounts, I'm putting more attention towards that, paying off debt so that I'm not having those things kind of weighing down on me and preventing me from feeling really comfortable or constantly feeling like, yeah, I could have money, but some part of it's always going to have to go to debt. Like, no, I'm trying to get this debt done and dusted so that way I am free from that and can be positive in my net worth. And when I bring children into this world, or when we bring children into this world, be able to have the freedom of finances to say, yes, we can afford to put aside money to plan a vacation. We have enough money to go out to eat with our family on a Friday night if we want, and we don't have to think about when was the last time we went out to eat or there's food at home. You know, it's the small things, but those small things consistently, especially in your formative years, really do make an impact on who you become, you know, as a young adult and as an adult. The thing for me about breaking generational curses is that it's in your bloodline. Unfortunately, it's in your bloodline. My mom could have made decisions that she made because that's what she saw her mom do. And, you know, me seeing those decisions, I take it as they did what they needed to do to survive in the situations that they were in. It's my job to build upon their shoulders. It's my job to make them proud. It's my job to take the torch further, and so that my children can do the same with me, take the torch even further. Um, but because it's almost like ingrained in your DNA, you really do have to fight to make different decisions. Because if you make the same decisions that they made, you're going to end up in the same positions that they were. And this goes across any, you know, generational curse. You are the one that's in control of that. There comes a point where you can no longer say, well, I'm like this because my family's like this. I'm like this because my mom is like this, because my dad is like this. And okay, and what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Like, I had to go to therapy. Me thinking I'm going to therapy to deal with unresolved daddy issues. Whole time it was unresolved mommy issues, which is crazy because I love my mother to bits and pieces. Like, I don't have a bad word to say about her. Yeah, I'm skeptical of some of the choices she makes, but like I said, she did what she thought was best in the situation with the cards that she was dealt. The whole time, my worry, my anxiety, my fearfulness around certain things comes from the things I've seen her do. And that was a little eye opening for me, but it was helpful. And it didn't change how I felt about my mom. I still love her more. I feel my heart is even softer towards her because of the things that she did, given, like I said, the situation that she was in. But I had to do that work. I have to make the choices in my relationship to not be the same way that I've seen my mother be, or not be a way that is not conducive to what I desire. Which sometimes, not sometimes, oftentimes causes me to cast myself aside, put my pride aside, put my ego aside, even when I think I'm right, to think about what's peaceful, what's godly, because it's not about me. Breaking this generational curse is not about me. It is about how do I change the trajectory of my bloodline. And when you think about it from that point of view, from the fact that this is bigger than you, this is about the generations, the healing of generations, inviting more of God into your generations, then you realize I need to lock in because I am the deciding factor between path A and path B. Okay? And this doesn't mean that God will chastise you or punish you. I think God is there for my mom and he was there for my grandmother, but I think that when you know more and you know better, you have to do more and do better. And like I said, I went to therapy, but it doesn't have to be therapy for you. It can be journaling, it can be healthy conversations with your family about how their decisions impacted you. Or if you don't feel comfortable doing that, having conversations with your friends that are also trying to elevate themselves in life, also trying to break generational curses, and kind of talk through how you're feeling with them. Go to them for encouragement and support and a new perspective to help you overcome the things that you're trying to overcome. But addressing it, facing it, and having conversations about it, I think is really key to making the difference. And maybe you're more of an introverted, well, I don't want to say introverted person, but maybe more of a private person who doesn't want to talk about what you're going through with someone else. Um, Journal, talk about it with yourself, but find a way to get it out, because there's going to be pain with that. There's going to be there could be resentment with that, there could be hurt with that. You don't want to It's going to be hard for you to grow if you're continuing to suppress that and bottle it up. You have to get it out of your system so that you can make space for new decisions, new choices. The last and most important thing is to submit your worries to the Lord. You are going to struggle breaking generational curses of your on your own or of your own volition, and I'm going to recommend that you pray about it. I'm going to recommend that you seek God's guidance and help on how to live differently, whether that is through prayer, whether that is through reading the word, whether that is going to church and having faithful and honest, spiritual mentors. Um, there's different ways to seek God's help and guidance, but without Him, it is going to be challenging because, again, remember, this is a curse. This is something that is like a stronghold on your DNA, and it's so much deeper than surface level. So you need power that is stronger than this physical realm. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that has been so helpful to me. It's so comforting because even when I'm struggling, even when I'm failing, I feel safe and comforted to mess up, but I also feel supported to try again. And it's going to be a journey of messing up, of failing and trying again. You have to keep going. It doesn't happen. I'm very aware that this is not going to happen in 1 year, but I'm mindful that I have to make the decisions this year as I'm trying to elevate and onward to break these curses and feel confident that I will be able to break them, so that way my generations, my offspring, don't have to deal with these things. If you're unsure how to pray about it, well, first, you want to pray fervently, meaning consistently going to the Father about this. That's the first thing. Secondly, if you're not sure what to pray for, and even if you are, I always recommend simply praying to align yourself to God's will. Lord, allow my choices to be in alignment with your will and your desires for my life. Lord, there are these things that I know are not good, I know are not of you, and I want to remove them from my life. Help me. Help me to make the decisions I need to make to break these curses, to break these chains. Help me, Lord, guide me on the right path so that way my steps can be in alignment with your will. It could be as simple as that. You can write that prayer down, take it, and say it again and again because, I mean, who better to break chains than the chain breaker himself? Who better to break curses than the demon killer himself? Okay, you see where I'm going with this? You need all of the tools in your arsenal. He is the biggest tool. he is the, I don't know any fighting terminology, but he's the knockout punch. That's all I got. He is the knockout punch to breaking these generational curses. And I mean, would you want to go 12 rounds fighting for your life, or would you want to knock out in round 3? You get what I'm saying? So I advise you and implore you to start a practice of praying over breaking generational curses. Start a practice of committing your life and your behaviors and your choices to God and ask for His guidance, ask for His help. Um, it's no point in doing it alone. It's so much better when you do it with Him. Now, with prayer and with faith, you have to do the work. When you see yourself making the same choices that those before you have made, stop yourself and say, I can't act the same way again and expect different results. I have to change. There's going to be pride, there's going to be ego in the way, but you have to put your pride and your ego aside and say, this is for my good. This is for my improvement, my betterment. I have to keep going. I have to try. It's not going to be easy. Like I said, you may fall down, but you get back up and you try again, because that is what is so important in this journey, your ability to be steadfast, your ability to continue on this journey. Um, it's just don't give up now. You know what I'm saying? It's too it's too early to give up. Keep going. You can do this. I know you can. I believe in you. Okay? The thing is that there's always going to be what's easy, what's comfortable. Usually, however, what's easy and what's comfortable is the path you're trying to run away from, the choices that you don't want to align yourself with. And so to make new choices, to create new DNA, if you will, to create new strongholds. You want positive strongholds, a stronghold of determination, a stronghold of good stewardship, a stronghold of love and care. Um, those are the things that you want to practice, because then once you develop that habit and develop that practice and really become that person, it's only natural that your offspring will be those kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Because they will see the example that you've given them and be able to operate in that example. That becomes their normal. So instead of what you knew as normal, by leaving that in the past and developing a new normal, your children then become raised in a different kind of normal, a normal that helps them to move onward and upward. So remember, the 3 things that are most important when breaking generational curses are: first, to name them; second, acknowledge their presence in your current life; and third, submit them to the Lord. Following that path is a great starter point for breaking these generational curses. And that's what I'll be following myself. That's what I have been following. And it's just rinse and repeat. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Really, once you've named them, um, it's really step 2 and step 3, acknowledging their presence in different parts of your life and submitting that to the Lord. Acknowledging their presence and submitting that to the Lord. Knowing where your shortcomings are and submitting that to the Lord, and doing it again and again and again until you don't have to submit those things to the Lord because they're not present in your life anymore. Like I said before, I believe in you. I know you can do it. I'm praying for myself. I'm praying for you that's watching this, because we are the change that we want to be, or we are the change that we want to see, because we are the change that we want to see. But the only way we can change is if we make different choices, make better choices. So I hope that this touched someone out there. I hope, if you are breaking generational curses right now, let me know down below. I'd love to hear them so I can add them to my prayer list for you. Um, like I said, I believe in you, but we have to do the work. We have to make the choices to change our trajectory in life. Thank you, like I said, for my girls that have been waiting for 2 months for the next video. It's finally here. Appreciate your patience. Definitely look forward to seeing you. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video or you feel connected, we hope to see you back again next month. And if you feel so moved to, subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you'll know when I post my next video. Until next time, bye.